Stirring the Sheets by Chad Lutzke. This is considered general horror, but I'm gonna call this general horror with feeling. And I mean that with all due respect. This book truly does give you the feels. It is comprised of 103 pages and was published by Bloodshot Books in 2018. Here we follow an elderly gentleman by the name of Emmett Irvine. He is a funeral home worker who has been working for Griffin Gardens Funeral Home for the better part of 40 years. We are introduced to our character as he is going through great loss. He has just lost his wife of 40 years, Kate, and we are living through essentially the memories of the last 40 years. We get an inside look of the home that they shared and of this place that he essentially has gone to day in and day out for 40 years. It really does give you a perspective on us as individuals. How many of us get up and go through that same vigorous routine day in and day out? We wake up, we go through the ABCs of home, we go to work, we go through the ABCs at work, and we come home and we go to sleep. But in that time, how much of life are you living? How many vacations did you go on? How many sights did you see? How much quality time did you inevitably spend with the love of your life for the last 30, 40 years? In his case, 40. This book is so poetic. I've said it before, there's just something so special about the writing of Chad Lutzke, and this book is no different. The details, the exquisite minor details that really bring out the emotion within you, that not only help you to connect with these characters, but they bring these characters to life and you stop. Now, the first book that I read by Chad Lutzke was one that he did in conjunction with John Bowden, and that I did a review for, and that is Out by the Barn. I found that while reading that book, I was very slow to finish it. It was also a very short book, comprised of about the same. And I would read a few pages and I would put it down. I would walk away for a few days and come back. And it wasn't so much that it was difficult to get through. I just found myself wanting to savor the pages. And I thought, well, maybe it's just that book. I did the exact same thing here. I think that in my mind, I don't want his books to end. I want to read a couple of pages and I want to walk away. And I want to think about his characters all day. I want to think about the setting that he has created and the imagery and the vividness, all the way down to the strawberry scented shampoo. When I received this book, it was in my February Nightworms package. And I could have very easily read it upon arrival because, again, it's a short read and I could have very easily flown through it. But I found myself continually setting it aside and I didn't know why. And I think sometimes books have a funny way of finding you at just the right time. If you've been following me here for any given amount of time, you know that back in September, October, I was going through my own traumatic event. And to some people, you might think I'm crazy because I was going through the loss of a family pet. My pets are my children. And in October of last year, I lost my cat of 15 years. And as crazy as this might sound, we are now approaching the 6-month mark of the loss of my snitch, my kitty mamas. I left her litter box in the same spot. Originally, I thought I was gonna somehow convince the outdoor barn cat to live life with my family. She doesn't want any of it. She likes the outdoor life. And then it just became a staple. I guess in some weird way, it was like the sheet. This book truly lit that spark. We all need a friend like Rosemary. Rosemary boldly looked at Emmett and said, "Don't live the life you've got left like you're the one who's dead." Whew. That hits home. That hits home, and it hit home hard. I'm emotional over a cat. God help me when I lose my parents. Seriously. But really, truly, it is Chad's ability to take a very simplistic conversation and say those very specific things that will stay with you forever. Emmett and Rosemary were having coffee at Greensmith Emporium. And they're talking about the loss of Rosemary's husband. And there's so much more to this conversation. But Emmett looks at Rosemary and he says, "You had what, 3 months together after he was diagnosed?" And she says, 81 days. Damn it, Chad. That is what life is all about, you know? This book still has me crying. This book is a story of loneliness, of heartbreak, of darkness, of depression, of life. And shit, I thought it was gonna be about necrophiliism. And look at what it's done to me. I'm a blubbering mess. If you haven't read Stirring the Sheets yet, you are missing out. If you have not embarked on the adventure, on the poetic embrace that is Chad Lutzke, please do yourself a favor and go order everything he's ever written, because there is no other author like him. Right now, Chad Lutzke is at the top of my author list. He is memorable, he is poetic, he is well spoken, but he hits you on all the nerves you didn't know you had within you. Chad Lutzke, sir, this is 5 amazing, glorious, beautiful, poetic, intense stars. Thank you for helping me let go.